Napa Valley has really been a pioneering area for California wines. In fact, it was the judgment at Paris in 1976 that really brought Napa Valley, particularly Napa Valley Cab, to the fore. And you might say that California winemakers, ever since then, have vindicated themselves in terms of making really great world-class wine. This wine, the Vindicated, celebrates that and really moves us forward even further in the sense that we're now making an Oakville area Cabernet Sauvignon at a price point that's not going to break everybody's pocketbook. We're able to do that working with our grape and wine partners in Napa Valley, and it's a real joy to be making these wines. 2012 was really a great vintage for us. It was a lot easier than the 2010 and 11 vintages. I do have to say that the 2011 was one of my favorite wines to have made because it just had such beautiful, cool climate simplicity to it and great presence of Cabernet Sauvignon varietalness. Fortunately, the 2012, we were able to continue with that vein, even though it was a very generous year and everybody could make a good Cabernet. I think we've kind of exceeded ourselves in terms of both the price point and the overall forwardness of this particular wine. So it's actually going to be even closer to being ready than the 2011 was. So the 2012 has a very red hue to it, moderate density for a Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. On the nose, really, really good varietal character. Just a little bit of that leafiness and slightly vegetal snap that Cabernet Sauvignon should have. With cassis and more of a black currant than a red currant, and actually a little bit of blueberries and blue fruits on it, as opposed to darker fruits. Moderate alcohol, which is supporting and bringing back into the nasal passages the French oak that we used to help to frame the beautiful Cabernet Sauvignon varietal aromas on this. A little bit of vanilla. On the palate, really good varietal character. Good structure in terms of the tannins. Oftentimes the Oakville district can be a bit overbearing, but this is perfectly balanced. This is a wine that's going to taste great right now out of the track and also age well for a number of years. Good stuff. Now we're on to the 13. Which was also another very generous year. It really was easy to make wine this particular year. And once again, partnering with our growers. This particular vineyard off of Money Road, just on the southern side of the Oakville district, creating some really nicely structured wine. This is a very young wine for Cabernet Sauvignon, admittedly. But we did work on softening up the tannins a little bit by adding more oxygen and doing aerated racking so that we got a lot of oxygen into the wine, let it set for a while, rack it again, let it set for a while, rack it again. A little bit labor intensive, but kind of doing it the old-fashioned way. As with the 12, the oak frames this wine very nicely in terms of its Cabernet Sauvignon-like characters, a little bit of that leafiness and greenness, the pyrazines that occur in a Napa Cabernet, along with the ripe berry fruits, and even a little bit of Santa Rosa plum on a wine like this. Pretty interesting. The tannins are very firm, yet at the same time very broad and spreading, making this wine a perfect wine to drink very soon, and also something that will age for short to moderate term cellaring.